to shoot the defence. It's unbelievable, Jeff.
Hello and welcome to Shoot the Defence, brought to you by the FNX Network and My Sportswear. I'm your host, Stel, and joining me this evening is former crew player and co-founder of the Offside Foundation, Andy Woodward. Welcome, Andy, to the show, mate. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
How's things?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, to say the least, but I'm starting to get some focus now. It's been an emotional time, a bit of a sort of roller coaster ride, to be honest with you. But my main focus was initially just to help others and give some sort of strength to anyone to come out and speak and be able to have the strength to speak about this.
Absolutely. Now, you formed the Offside Trust with Steve Waters and Chris Unsworth to support victims of sexual abuse and encourage others to speak out, you just said. Now, I'd like to thank you, Steve, Chris and Paul Stewart, David White and anyone else who's really had the courage to make this public knowledge. I've also got to credit, as I mentioned before, the Guardian's Daniel Taylor and Phil Brown from Beyond the Pitch for being the vehicles that brought this story to our attention. Now, about the foundation, when did you all decide to create this?
Well, it was me myself, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Initially, and what my vision was is that I came out, I spoke about it on my own, and I was on my own, and it took a long time for me to talk about it. And Danny Taylor, I spent 4 weeks with him, really sort of thinking long and hard on whether I could actually do this. And it was a massive decision for me. I spoke to my family, I spoke to Zelda, and, together, me and her decided, and Danny, that this was real, and it was the only opportunity where I think it was the only chance that we could actually talk about it out in public for them to have the bravery and the strength to come out. And that's why this trust all started, because I have a vision that I just want to go and reach out to people and try and make a difference in safeguarding kids.
Absolutely.
And also, about also protecting us as, survivors from it. And that was the initial sort of venture around how we're going to do it. Mm-hmm. And it's in the early stages. I'm still making inroads into it because, like anything, when you start something from fresh, it takes some time to develop that, to make sure that you get it right, and we get it right first time. And that's what I'm in the process of doing now.
Fantastic. Well, the thing is, Andy, since you've come out with this, over 860 victims have come forward. To me, it wouldn't be a surprise if the figure is far, far greater than that. But what methods are you, and when I say you, I mean everyone involved in the trust, what methods are you all going to use to get more people speaking out and exposing sex offenders in the game?
Yeah, that's the vision, and that's what we're doing now in the process of trying to develop I've got really good business advisors behind me that we're coming up with a plan, not to cause any issue in terms of the governing bodies. What I'm trying to do is work with them to come up with plans and procedures that we can put in place, that we can slide alongside them to make it a safer place out there for kids, because that's imperative for me. And what it is we can't change what's happened in the past. We can't change what happened to us as ex-pros or kids that were involved in all this. What we can do is we can put things in place now to move forward, to make it a safer place, not just in football, but in sport and also in the general public. If we can make it a safer place out there so we can protect our kids and the new generation totally, that they feel that they're able to speak out, or that they feel that they can talk about things. And that's what it's all about. And I think in terms of football as a sport, then if we can do that with football, why can't we do it with other sports as well? And it needs to be a safer place.
That's right, I agree. Now, Steve Waters said something at the launch of the Trust that has really stayed with me, Andy. He said the bravado in football has to stop. Now, my guess is high-profile players, past and present, they don't like to talk about this because they're worried about, I don't know, being on the receiving end of more abuse by fans and idiots on social media. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I can't talk for what Steve said. Mm-hmm. Where they're at, it's a very difficult situation in the current culture of football, and we both know that, in that game, that they all have agents and whatnot, and everybody, has an opinion. I don't judge anybody for not coming out or not speaking or not being able to speak at this moment in time. But what's important right now is that we do things collectively, and we speak to the governing bodies, and we come up with a proper structured plan around how we can make this a better and safer place. And in time, I'm sure that, every club in the country, we hope, will support us in what we're trying to achieve, because there's no club in this country or in the world that won't want this to be a safer place or a safer environment for children to grow up in. And they've done loads of inroads into safeguarding and whatever. Mm. But what's imperative to me is that now I've spoken out, is that we can make it an even safer place for kids, safer place for the environment, and safer place for any sport or any industry.
That's right. And you mentioned the word support earlier. How supportive have the FA, PFA, and all the other bodies been with the Trust?
Well, we've yet to sit down and actually speak to them about it, but I'd hope that all the governing bodies, when it comes down to safety and safeguarding and how we move things forward, I'm sure that they will be completely behind us in what we want to achieve out of this.
Mm. I agree. And have any clubs been in contact? Because I've seen on social media the likes of Joey Barton, they've been very supportive of you. Have any other clubs given you a phone call or anything?
No. And like I said earlier, it's early days, right. And that's something that we need to do the process in the right manner, in the right sort of constructive way. And it's not this now, because it's such a big issue, is not going to go away. So it takes time and structure and the right people behind us to make sure that we get everything in place. And it's a slow process. It's not going to happen overnight, and I accept that. But all I'm going to say to you is that it was my vision from the start, and it's my sort of vocation in life to do this and make it work, to make it a safer place for all kids in any sport or any walk of life, that we can't allow this to happen moving forward.
No, I agree. And the thing is, criminal record checks aren't enough anymore, are they, Andy? I mean, what measures do you think clubs should take to prevent this sort of thing happening, if any? I mean, you can think of any. Because it's very difficult, isn't it?
It is difficult, but like I said earlier, I've got a really good business advisors that are behind me, and there's all sorts of different plans, and I can't talk about them right now, right. But I'm sure when I speak to them, the governing bodies, and I speak to them collectively, that they will understand what my vision is in terms of how we can make it a safer place. And those visions that I've got and we've got collectively will make it a safer place. But I can't discuss them right now because I need to speak to those governing bodies. Absolutely. To make sure that they're on board with what we're trying to achieve. And all of them, all want the same objective, and we need to make it a safer environment for children. Mm.
And not
only that, but not only that, it's about the parents as well. Because as I've said earlier on, right from the start, parents were also victims of this because they were left believing that these coaches were in charge of us. And we need the parents also to feel that they feel that their children are completely safe when they drop them off at a training ground, or they drop them off at a football club, right the way down to grassroots, that they've got a safe environment where they can leave their children. And I've had parents come up to me, you know, in a bar, on a train or whatever, and said, "You've changed my mindset now, and I'm starting to think about it." And that's exactly what I want out of this.
Well, Andy, I'll tell you what, you hit the nail right on the head there, because my next question was going to be about parents. And, you know, I know it's somewhat of a tightrope, but do you think children from a certain age, do you think they should be educated about this?
Exactly, and there is that education as well. And there's an age bracket that you can hit that education, and that's another strand of one of my visions around how we can do that and how we can sort of give these children an education around that sort of subject, because it's a very sensitive subject, but there's a certain age where you can do that and they can understand what that means. And that's another part of, you know, my sort of vision around how we can deliver that and how we can move that forward, and how, working with all the governing bodies, how we can make it such a safer place. And then moving on from that, if we can make a sort of project that works, that why can't we branch it out further afield? Because this is a global issue. You know, it's not just here. It's global.
I agree. Well, Andy, listen, I really appreciate your time. I thank you ever so much for coming on the show. What you've been through and what you've done and what you're doing now, you know, parents everywhere, I'm a parent myself, I can't thank you enough, because even though, you know, you've had this misfortune and this awful stuff has happened to you, you coming out and bringing it to everyone's attention has opened a Pandora's box which should have been opened ages ago. It should have been opened a long time ago. So I've got to thank you on behalf of every parent out there, Andy. Really appreciate it, mate.
Oh, no, you don't have to thank me. What this is this is my sort of forte in life now. You know, I've been able to, you know, I was on my own. I put my own life on the line just to be able to reach out to other people that I knew that had suffered this. But also, objectively, it was about that I needed it to be safe, you know, and it's lived with me for so many years. And potentially, I could have took it to my grave, like a lot of the lads have said that they would have done. But now it's out there. We can't let this go, and we really need to work hard as a united country and really make this a safer place. And if we can make this work here, why can't it work everywhere else?
That's right.
I mean, yesterday I did Brazilian TV yesterday on Globo, and that goes out to 100 million people, and they think that there's an issue in Brazil that people are so frightened. And I understand why, because I've lived with it 30-odd years, you know, and I understand why. And if I can make a difference anywhere, no matter whether it's in the UK or in the whole of the world, just to say that it's okay, and it's okay to speak out.
That's right, I agree. Well, Andy, thank you ever so much for agreeing to come on the show, mate. If you ever need us for anything in terms of promoting the trust, feel free to let me know. In fact, tell the listeners your Twitter handle, or maybe even a bit more about the trust, where you can find out more information. Is there a website or anything like that?
Yeah, the website's at the Offside Trust, and it's generating a lot of sort of social media and stuff. But like I said earlier on, it's in the early stages. I need to sort of discuss things with the governing bodies. Once I've done all that, then we will launch it properly then, and then we'll give proper sort of instructions around what we're looking to achieve, how we're going to do it, and parents and all sorts of people around the country can see what we are actually doing with this.
Fantastic. Well, Andy, again, thank you very much, mate. So, guys, if you're listening, if you are a parent, if you're not a parent, and you're into football and youth development and whatnot, this is vital. This is very important, this Offside Trust. So, please give them a follow on Twitter. Visit the website, even when it's developed, even when it's not developed. Even donate. That would be fantastic. So, guys, thank you ever so much. Give us a follow on Twitter at Shoot the Defence. We'll be back sometime soon. Take care.